Well, after the joys of a night race that we never knew that we had, we're now back for the best takeaway in town until, well, actually it is this year because there's no new Delhi, is there? So we are in the best takeaway in town, the Chinese Grand Prix here for F1 2014. My name is Giuseppe, and alongside me is Esteban for the best takeaways in cars.
Absolutely. I'll have the chicken chow mein with the prawn crackers.
Scoop them up. There is a definite skill to being able to put half your Chinese inside prawn crackers and still being able to get it in your gob.
It is one of life's great joys, though. I mean, it's also there's an element of skill involved because you've got to get that thing in there before the prawn cracker dissolves. We all know what I'm talking about here. It will just fall away to nothing.
Yeah. It reminds me of what was the London Bridge, which when you go onto it, it starts to sway as soon as there's weight applied. So it's to buckle underneath. Or just generally my ample frame. I'm not really sure.
But you carry it so well, Giuseppe.
Ah, wow. All of the pizza slice. So last time out in the wonders that was Bahrain, we're still third and fifth in the championship, which is slightly suspiciously well for Lotus.
We're second in the constructors.
Are we? Bloody hell. 3 ahead of the old Scuderia. Call themselves pizza men. Yeah, not grand. And funny enough, Caterham and Marussia are ahead of Sauber.
I didn't notice that. I didn't get that far down. God, you're right. That's an odd one. Because I don't know how that's possible, because Suttil finished ahead of all of them last time out. I know because I finished just ahead of him.
Yes, because you were saying about how proud you were that you got round.
Yeah, I mean, because I didn't think I would. Initially, I thought I was faster than that group of 3 cars. It was Perez, Hulkenberg, and Suttil, and I thought, I could have these guys. And then I was within striking distance of points, and I seemed to have one good lap on those tyres, and then after that, the pace just went out of them completely.
Yeah.
I had a shocker, an absolute shocker, but I'm hoping to redeem myself. I will rise again.
Get that tattooed on your back and then see how you get on. So, let's go to the UBS Chinese Grand Prix. Underused Bahraini savings.
That's one of the few, aside from the Foster's Australian Grand Prix, that's one of the few race events actually that you associate with a brand, isn't it?
Yeah, because I remember when it used to be the Foster's British Grand Prix and things like that, and it just doesn't happen so much. Oh, it's Santander, I suppose, for a while.
What they need to do is do what they did for, was it Donington Park? Mm-hmm. Where it is now the Simply Sausages Donington Park. I would love to see the Simply Sausages British Grand Prix. That's an incredibly British title for it.
I didn't know that was true.
Yeah. I think it was Donington Park. It could be another track. I could be wrong, but I distinctly remember it being sponsored by Simply Sausages. Oh God, it's 100% raining quali, and it's 76% chance, so it might be changeable in the race.
Ooh, dear.
That's not too bad, except for the fact that I wanted to move back to a proper setup, and I have not developed a single wet setup for this track. And I would risk it for a biscuit, but we all know how that goes. We all know how that goes.
Well, I'm going to stay flat in the middle then of average, and just leave it on default. It will mean that I'll be absolutely gobbled down the straight, I think. Actually, that's a good point. Now that I've just thought aloud, let's go up one. Let's go up one for dry.
Simon, Jesus.
Let's do my usual dry setup and hope for the best.
Yeah, I'm wondering actually if I can. I mean, because I can't possibly drive worse than I did last time. Aside from that heroics in the start. Could I do that? Is that something that could happen? Do you know? I think it is. Let's go completely outrageous.
Stop it now.
and we'll just see, because I know there's only a few cars out on track, but if you'd set the bloody car up for me, then I wouldn't be pissing about like this. God, I continually say this, but I really hope they improve that in the new game.
What's that?
Well, your relationship with your race engineer, and like having him do his bloody job. I mean, he's essentially a puppet. He says, "Oh well, this," and then does nothing to improve your performance. He's just like, "Well, you need to do this." And I know that is somewhat indicative of what happens in real F1, but the point is, they would have a bit more meaningful input than you just need to make it happen.
Yeah. I do like what they've done in the MotoGP games, actually, where you can ask your race engineer for setup tips, and then he says, "What's the problem?" And then you kind of go like down a tree of answers, and then it arrives at "you should do this" to your car, and then actually it feels more organic and makes more sense.
No, that's exactly it. That's exactly what I want to see. That's exactly what I want to see. I want to be able to say, the car is getting completely monstered down the back straight, as it always does in China.
Yep. Cause AI.
Yeah, because reasons. And then I want him to say to me, well, this is the setup you need, because I can guarantee that either that will expose the fact that the AI is cheating, or it will be a solution that no right-thinking person would have considered.
Yeah, 1-1 wings on a wet track.
I have an announcement to make.
Uh-oh.
The decision to not only use a dry setup, but a dry setup that I have myself created, has proven to be short-sighted. I think that's being generous to myself there. The car is running wide at every corner, no matter what I do. That's incredible. I have really just utterly balls this one. Oh, guys, I just wish you had an onboard camera to see this. It's majestic. How's yours feeling? Did you stick with the default?
I didn't stick with default, but I went up one. So I went for my normal dry setup that I take. Skiddy, but we're making it work. We're making it work.
I think part of my problem in Bahrain, was that in the dark, the track felt completely different, and I kept missing my DRS zone.
Ah, okay.
And you've got to get the DRS on the go. The DRS is your friend. Oh, it's disabled as well. I just started hitting the DRS button and realised that actually it's disabled in the wet, isn't it?
Yes.
For reasons.
I'm going to end up with a penalty in a minute if I keep smacking Magnussen. Will not leave me alone on a quick lap. Oh.
Go away, Kevin. Go away. You've been playing quite a lot of this, I recall you saying.
Yes. Mainly on the PS3 version I have, yeah. Not so much on career yet. I've been mucking about with... In fact, I just completed it, because after we'd finished round 3... barrier. Oh dear. That's quite shocking. Let me get out the kitty litter. I always find it so much harder this game. Yeah, I was playing the scenario mode, which was interesting, because it's as if they've based the scenarios entirely against what happened in 2013 as opposed to what actually happened this year, because it's things like Vettel's in the lead of the race. He's just had an engine failure. Your Mercedes is in 6th. How are you going to get on the podium? So things like that. I'm thinking, I'm loving all these weird scenarios.
Well, also, Suttle is monstering me down the straight.
Wow.
And I was 6/10 down on pole in Sector 1 and 3.5 seconds down in Sector 2. So nothing good is happening here. Nothing good at all. I'm going to put this time on the table, even though I'm in 15th, 4.889 seconds down. I'm going to come in on this lap, fresh tyres, because I've been going around without fuel mix 3.
I find fuel mix 3 makes me light up my tyres in a way.
That's maybe not desirable then.
Yeah, whenever I'm racing, and it's definitely in full wets, sometimes I can get away with it on inters, but yeah, as soon as I go fuel mix 3, I start lighting up the tyres and actually going slower. And I don't know if that's just a psychological thing, but it just feels to me that whenever you go to mix 3, because I'm quite heavy fingered on the old triggers to accelerate, it just goes and I'm like, ow!
Yeah, I mean, I'm being very gentle with the throttle. I'm probably maybe too much so. I could probably be faster, but I feel that when you go through any of the slow corners, you're just spinning all your power away. And that long right-hander around the seating stand,
yes, before
the long straight, I'm rally driving around that. I'm basically drifting it. Second gear, full revs all the way around. And that will be why my engine's looking a wee bit yellow.
Yes, I was having that as well.
My tyres are cold again as well. Don't get me wrong, like I'm pleased to see something like this implemented. But by God, they could have communicated it better.
Yeah. Alright, let's go out for a take 2, because that was horrible.
And also, because I know they haven't changed the underlying tyre model, I know, or at least feel, that this would happen regardless of what I'm doing. Oh, hello, Simon.
Hello. It's popping out. We should get some on-air time. Did you get pushed away again? No, mummy! But yeah, having played the game a bit more, I would say, I can only speak really for the PS3 version so far, that the AI improvements that I felt that we saw earlier on haven't translated massively across to the PS3 version as much. I see less in the way of smacking into each other, the AI. I also see a lot of at the end of a DRS straight, they're actually ahead of me if I'm playing the game properly and not just cutting everyone up like everyone does online for grouch moan. And they're actually ahead of me, and then they still brake massively early, and then I can still like proper get past them again. And it's not as if I'm even like trying, I'm braking my normal line, but it's like as if when they're under DRS, they brake ridiculously early. Or maybe it's just against where I feel that I'm braking, I'm not sure.
No, what you're describing there has exactly been my experience of the last 2 games. That they are always faster in a straight line, and unless you're like really, really good at the game, which neither of us are, but I mean, for an average player, or below average player, if you're driving cleanly and not trying to block people or swerve or weave across the road to block someone coming through, they are always going to get past you on the straight.
Yeah.
And then they brake far, far too early. I mean, I'd say 50 meters too early in some corners. Going in, I mean, turn 1 in Australia, they're braking so quickly, and also turn 3 or 4. After the car, before the car park.
Yeah.
They're braking so early that it takes no effort at all to get past the car that on paper should be faster. That's still the case. I stand by our assessment that the race AI is better now. I just think we're not suffering at the hands of it so much because we're a bit more used to the game. But, Vern was racing me very cleanly last time out, and he got past me on merit. I didn't feel it was a cheap pass. but I do still feel that their lap times are cheap. I do think that it feels artificial. And I know it's a game, and it's kind of hard actually to think of a way they could do it without it feeling artificial.
Corner speed increase. It's
yeah, actually, yeah.
Just because it was the model that I'm used to with Jeff Crammond games, I suppose, is where I'm coming from that. That was terrible, Simon. And when you implemented different values to the AI stuff, when you got the GP2 and GP3 edits, little things, that seemed to work, because then the corner speeds and the rate of acceleration. So I smacked someone else up the arse.
Nice pop backward there.
Was meatloafing it. I seem to have an affinity for having McLarens next to me on a hot lap. What the hell?
Vern's ruining my hot lap as we speak. Ben, stop rally driving around this corner in second gear. It's not fast. We've established that. No, I mean, you make a very good point. I think maybe improving the cornering. It's just, I don't know if it's just that they're AI. Maybe it's just a trap that's always going to be there. That when the computer beats you, whether it is actually fair or not, it's got an element of feeling scripted.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of games that have done it well, actually. Can you think of good AI in games?
No. Not in racing games. I mean, especially like if you think old PlayStation 2 era, the AI was very much brain dead. It had a line, and it would drive that line, and all the cars would drive that line identically. Actually, no. What were those old Psygnosis F1 games where you could mix up the grid before the race?
They were F1. You could do that all the way through the F1 PlayStation 2 eras from 2000 onwards. Ones that I remember going quite well would be the F1 97 ones, just because different cars had different values at different tracks. So, and that was to try and show the difference between Bridgestone and Goodyear at the time. So like you'd go to some tracks and like the Prost would be amazingly quick. And I remember always being excited because there was a couple of races where the David Hill's Arrows would go massively well at like Hungary or something like that, but nowhere else in the year. I miss like that element of things, I think, as well. I don't know.
No, I'm with you on that. I miss that too. I think the games I'm thinking of, you could mix up the order, but by the end of a race, even a short race, the cars would be in the order that the game had decided they should be in.
Yes, yeah.
And so that, to me, I mean, I used to enjoy watching these simulated races, but they were cheap simulations, and I felt very much cheated. Oh, yeah. Pipped you at the post.
Oh, you jammy Jims.
You
still on one. But...
You got in front of me, just as you crossed the line, and I only noticed just as I was about to cross the line myself, and I thought, oh god, because I had a faster lap last time out, and as I came through the final corner, I caught the artificial green grass on the exit of the final corner, and it kicked the back end out, and so I lost quite a bit of time there, because once your course is adjusted like that, non-voluntarily, then you were in problems. And I'd been faster in the first two sectors, and then I ended up finishing 0.04 of a second down across the lap. So to come through and pip you by 2, maybe 0.3 is pretty good, but I've got a feeling that you're going to jump me again if this lap goes your way.
No, it won't, because I've run out of fuel.
Oh, mate!
And then fucked up the final corner and bucked it. I want...
Oh, well, at least I out-qualify you once.
Well done, mate. Well done. And that's where Lotus should be.
Yeah, at least now we're playing with a degree of legitimacy.
This takes a wet one. Oh, dearie me.
I've enjoyed the wet weather races much more in this game than the last one. I've been better in the wet in the last 2 games.
I think it shows up more my fat fingering style, so I can no longer like proper just floor it and hope for the best all the time. So it's good that there's improvements across the board.
I'm upset that we've been out-qualified by the Saubers though, because last time we beat some Saubers and Toro Rossos, as I recall.
Yeah, we sandwiched the Toros, didn't we? So.
Oh well, onwards and upwards.
Yes. Never mind. Good stuff. All good stuff.
Oh, sorry, go on.
I was going to say. So, what else have? Whilst we lament in the pit lane, what's wrong with those qualifyings, Lotus?
In trouble all the time.
Yeah, spanky spank. What else have you been playing? Because I hear that you've been waxing over a few games. Yeah,
I know. I've been marching my way through the new Civilization, Beyond Earth.
What would you tell me?
It's impressed me. I mean, a lot of people have made the argument that it could just be a mod for Civ 5, and do you know what? Yeah, it could, but I think the level of polish on it and the way, like, it does make some changes to the game that are perhaps not immediately apparent unless you're playing it. I mean, something that always bothered me about Civ games, and I know why they were made that way, was that you could end up with these ridiculous scenarios where you would find yourself, it's a 0-stop race apparently.
Oh, okay.
That tells me it's going to go dry at some point. Honestly, it does, because the race engineers just said take intermediate in these changeable conditions.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah, where was I? Is that you can end up with, stealth bombers bombing knights, and you could get a ridiculously elevated speed by which you march your way through the technologies, and there was a very clear this beats this.
Mm-hmm.
And so while there was a strategy to the game, stuff like economy, I know it's important, but it didn't feel hugely important. As long as I wasn't making a loss, I could focus on production and science and do well for myself. I didn't need mountains and mountains of gold coming in. Managing happiness was relatively easy. In this game, what I've really loved about it is that rather than a tech tree, it's a tech web. So every player starts in the center, and you can go off in whatever direction you want.
Okay.
And they're all viable technologies. Some things are better than others, but you're never going to find yourself being punished too much for making an earlier decision. So what you have is sort of 3 ways to go as a sort of an overall way of running your pseudo state, in the sense that you can go for harmony with your new local environment, supremacy over it, or purity, sort of maintaining humanity's purity using technology, sort of, battle suits and stuff, so you don't have to change, but you also don't have to adapt to your surroundings. So for a start, those 3 philosophies are actually quite interesting anyway. This idea of you're starting the world again. What do you do differently? What do you do the same? I like that as an idea.
Yeah.
Then you've also got an ability to mold your people through the technologies you choose from the tech web. Mm-hmm. So you've got this, you can have an affinity for one idea, but perhaps, oh god, this is
sorry. I just pushed you through Kiviet there. So.
I got a warning for that.
Really? I got nothing. I thought you always went to the drive behind. That's a bit random.
No, apparently it deemed I braked too early. Can you see how I'm running wide because of the stupid setup?
It's an amazing aversion to racing lines. But you do well, mate.
So, so yeah, I feel for a start, you've got more control over your state and people. Like, I really feel I'm building my own faction to a much greater degree than I've done in the past. Like, they say, oh, you take over a famous historical race and you lead them through time, but you don't. I mean, you lead them along a path that's already been laid out for you. Like,
yeah, that seems to give you more individuality with that web.
Exactly. I mean, you and your friends can develop completely divergent technologies that are capable of matching each other. And I really, really like that. It comes down to, like, even when you start the game, you decide what kind of people you bring along on your spaceship, whether you want scientists or artists or engineers. You decide what equipment is loaded onto your spaceship. So, you can begin with a worker unit, you can begin with a specific technology. It completely changes up from this usual Civ model of everyone has a settler, a warrior, and a worker, and off you go.
Yeah.
Down this tech tree that really is. I mean, you might have a choice between 2 or 3 technologies, and you can decide the order in which you research them, but you all must research them. Where it's not like that in Civ. I mean, if a game ends early enough, you can have theoretically no overlapping technologies with your rivals and not be at a significant disadvantage.
That's quite cool.
What I tend to find is I played it very much as if I would be playing Civ 5, and what I find I do is I go baby steps down every direction and work from the inside out in almost a spiral, and that actually loses me the game more often than not.
So it does push you more to making a decisive, this is how we're going to be.
Well, it's a bit more realistic in the sense that no country is that wishy-washy. No political entity is that wishy-washy. You have an overarching ideology, and everything you do is according to that. So what you do early on, what I tend to find is, my biggest decision early on is, are the aliens a problem? Because they don't attack you unless you're aggressive towards them. So they might make a move towards you, but if you back your unit off, the AI is quite good in this regard. They will not attack.
Okay.
And if you stay away from the nests, so I scout around the map and think, well, are they blocking a resource that I need? Are they going to interfere in the short term with my expansion? Do I need to fight with them? Because obviously they're replacing barbarians, and there is some benefit to attacking them, in so much as when you clear out nests, you usually get a bit of a windfall, like you would with an old barbarian encampment. You tend to build up a very experienced army without too much bother. I just drag my ass so slowly through that corner. This setup is friggin' awful. But there's also a benefit to living in harmony with them.
Yeah. And
that decision is made pragmatically if you're playing the game as it was intended, I think. I mean, some people might just say, I'm going to fight the aliens no matter what, because that's what I believe. But I tend to play it as if, look, I found myself in this situation. Much in the same way I would play Fallout games and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, I often find I suffer in Fallout games because I'm incapable of being a dick to people. And so you end up with no purified water and, everything's gone. I like to put myself in situations, and that's what I do with this Civ game. And so I will only fight the aliens if there is a need to do so, or a completely overwhelming benefit. Like if I'm next to someone who I think is going to be incredibly aggressive, then rather than be the first one to attack, I will skill up my army by clearing aliens out of the immediate area. And I like that. I no longer feel like I'm on rails, and I'm being proactive rather than reactive.
Yeah.
Which I think those games sorely needed. You're faster than me down the straight, it looks like.
I think I'm one notch up. Ah!
Oh, what happened? Did you hit me there?
No, I just managed to get my double dildo out of your side pod.
Oh, that's good. Thanks very much.
You're very welcome. No penetration from the side, in fact. Been like being screwed in the belly button. That does actually sound really Hulkenberg, what was that? We clearly have different lines through that corner, Mr. Germon. That does sound really intriguing, actually, with the whole web dynamic thing, because Civ games I do enjoy. I've never given them enough time as they deserve at the moment, just purely because I just seem to buy every Steam game that's out there, and I need to stop and actually play the bloody things. So I need to grab that at some point. And currently, I think it's still on 25% off, so that may well be a good purchase. Although there is a Halloween sale, and I've already done a shitload of things on that.
Yeah, I picked up quite a bit on that. What I can say though, Simon, is I can heartily recommend it.
Cool.
Like I got it for 25% off too from Green Man Gaming, and yeah, it's worth it. I will definitely get my money's worth out of it. And what I really want to do really is get into the multiplayer of it. Problem is that like obviously it takes forever.
Yeah, you need dedication on it.
Oh, the rain's gonna stop.
Oh. You was right.
In around 10 minutes, he said, which is actually, by my maths, the end of the race.
Yeah.
So, fuck him. And his stupid tyres. No, you've got me.
That was unintentional. You can get me back. I thought the 100 was 150 sides.
I can recommend it. I think multiplayer is where it's going to come into its own. I mean, I also like that wonders are no longer so overpowered that they decide the game. That was always a problem for me, because if you have someone, especially someone playing as Egypt, where they have that bonus to building wonders.
Yeah.
Wonders had such powerful benefits in some cases that you were always going to be on the back foot against a competent player. This time, the wonders are there, but I don't feel that not building one or being beaten to one is as detrimental as it was previously, and I like that as well, because that always felt like a cheap victory to me.
And what are the victory conditions in Beyond Earth? Because...
Well, you have a lot of ones that are... they basically assume the positions of existing ones, but they are affinity linked win conditions as well. So I think Purity, you have the Exodus Gate, so you build a portal that allows people from Old Earth to come and join you on the New World. I don't know what the other ones are actually, because my Harmony playthrough I got rinsed. I just got completely and utterly battered.
Harmony then?
No, I mean Harmony was good. It's just that I played Harmony, but I didn't spec into it properly. I did that thing where I was trying to get a bit of all technologies because I like the sound of them. And then what I found was that I had all my units upgraded to tier 2, but my opponents were fielding specialized tier 3 units, and like I was defeated completely by Australia on the naval front, because although I had upgraded my initial gunboats, they were on fucking cruisers and carriers and the like, which I hadn't unlocked because I was pissing about in other areas of the tech web. And yeah, I mean, I still think that if you're a serious player, your affinity and your technologies are chosen for you by your surroundings and your situation, which I just love.
Cool. Well, that sounds like a hearty recommendation there.
I also picked up on the Halloween sale Viscera cleanup detail.
Oh, I've got that. I've yet to play it though.
Hail to thee, Space Janitor. What else did I get? Red Solstice. It's an 8-player tactical co-op game, which I nearly picked it up through Kickstarter.
Yeah.
But I decided not to. Oh, Magnuson. That was a sweet move. It's because I'm running wide in these corners.
I'll keep your 10th for you.
Thanks, mate.
I'll also cut that corner entirely. I don't know what happened there. What did I pick up? Because I picked up quite a few, but again, I've not had a chance to play any of them. I tell you a game that I've really enjoyed playing that I picked up on PS3. and it's a hark back to olden times. Pac-Man and Pac-Man's Adventures, Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures. Sorry, it's called. And it's a really simple hark back to old late 90s platforming, but platforming done well. So even though it's based on a kiddie game show, I'm really enjoying it because Pac-Man takes all different forms, and you've got to eat the ghosts, and it's like nice platforming done really well. A bit like there's a couple of games that have come out quite recently on Steam that are very similar in that regard, like the Colour Tinker or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, I'm enjoying retro platforming games at the moment.
Oh, that's cool. I've dabbled on the old retro platform for a bit, although I did pick up the Sonic the Hedgehog games on Steam a while back.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, just the soundtrack alone is enough.
Yes. Iconic stuff.
Apparently I was a second faster than both of you through Sector 1, but you're still pulling away from me, so I don't know how that's true. Race engineer who doesn't know what he's talking about. What else have I been playing of late? I shouldn't choose that point to look round at my games collection, because that was a corner. So keep your eyes on the wheels. You guys are so much faster down this back straight, by the way. I'm not sure why.
What did you go setup wise?
I manually set up, but I've gone 3 front wing, 4 rear wing.
Okay, so you've got less wings than I have. I'm on 5.5.
So it must be something to do with my line into the corner. I'm not carrying enough speed or something.
Well, I find with this game you're so much more penalised for late braking, that it's better to brake earlier for a corner, or slightly earlier than the corner, and then have better acceleration out again, just because of the way how this model seems to work on being so slippery on acceleration. Oh my god. Oh, people have pitted? Why am I now 8th? I've not overtaken anyone.
Maybe there was an accident. Let's not complain, because that's both of us in the points.
Oh, where's to bed?
Assuming that we don't have to pit for tyres.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to start watching the tyre monitor now, because the rain seems to have eased off.
Okay.
Also, my fuel has gone down to optimal, even though I'm running on standard, so watch that.
Ooh, okay. Good shout, Captain. Oh dear.
I'm not feeling happy with this car all set up at the moment.
Gang behind you as well.
Yeah, I mean, I pull away from them in the first 2 sectors, and I catch closer to you guys, and then you guys blitz me sector 3. Oh, you got past Magnussen again. I was going to say, did he get past you? But it seems like you two having a bit of a battle up there.
Well, yeah, it feels cheap to just keep chopping him off down the straight with the ridiculous AI.
He's pitted.
Oh, okay, so he's going for tries, I bet. As has Raikkonen.
Well, can we make Inters last to the end?
Funny enough, this is one of the old scenarios. In fact, it's one of the last scenarios of the lot in the game for you to try. And you're in a Sauber around Silverstone. And I don't know what AI difficulty it gave, but in the dry I was actually going faster on the intermediates than I was on the guys on the dries. It was a bit weird. And I have to say, actually, some of the scenario mode was a bit broken, because there was the very last scenario, you have to drive 10 lap race around Suzuka, and you're on dries and everyone else is on inters, and it says basically win, all you have to do is keep the car on the road, because then when it dries off anyway after 5 laps, everyone pitted. And I was like, I didn't actually have to overtake anyone. What was the point of that scenario? I did, but you didn't actually need to.
Has your performance gone completely?
Yeah.
In the tyres?
Yeah.
Are you pitting for inters? I couldn't see what Raikkonen came out on. Can you see?
I'm trying.
Because we need to follow the AI. One thing I've learnt in these games is don't make ballsy independent calls.
He's on inters.
Okay, are you pitting for inters?
No. That was real cheese move from me, sorry. That was terrible. Because he's getting angry. Oh, I got a penalty for that. Bollocks. Right, I'm definitely not pitting then. That's going to add me 10 seconds. Fact, why not hit for dries?
You reckon? I've just gone half a second quicker.
Okay.
I don't want to question your judgment, because my judgment's usually wrong. I'm just saying that, like, my car feels a lot skiddier, and the wear is only in the orange, so it's hard to say if the tyres are actually going off or not. But then my first sector time was my best yet.
Well, I've got a 10-second penalty.
I mean, the thing is, it's one of those things where I've had a race where I've had a penalty on my single-player career, and I can, if I can switch to the correct tyre at the right time, I can go on to finish very, very strongly. We've got 4 laps to go. I think if you're going to make the change, I'd make it now. The rain has stopped.
I'm doing it.
I've just seen my tyre temperatures. I'm doing it. It's a ballsy call.
Ballsy from Lotus, what can we do?
Not much. We're going to come last. Straight in behind you.
It does actually get to work on you, it doesn't do some weird... Apparently my pit stop was 0.666. Okay.
Mine was 3.774. We know who's number 1 driver here.
Aww.
How are they feeling?
Fine.
I wonder if everyone else pits next lap and we go on to win.
That would be amazing.
My tyres don't feel quite so sexy.
Did you go option or prime?
Option.
I'm prime.
What position are you?
14th.
I'm 18th, 5 seconds down on the Hulkster. And my car is back to running incredibly wide. It just does not want to turn. It's like driving a boat. Oh, but I am catching him at a rate that is ridiculous.
Yeah, I could see on the little mini map actually. You go meow. Yeah, this is a good call.
Bloody hell. It's a very dangerous level of competence we've been displaying lately, Simon. It's just not good enough. Oh, Vernie. You're on the wrong tyres, my friend. Bye.
Oh, it's a bit tricky round turns 1 and 2 still. I do like the way how the rain still does that dynamic thing where it falls off at different places around a circuit. That is still very cool.
Yeah, that was something that was always very impressive to me, actually.
Purple sector 1. Oh, bye K-Mag. You wanger. How dare you keep scoring so many less points than Jensen Button yet still have his seat.
I just ballsed it trying to pass Kvyat though.
Yeah, now we've got to actually have overtaking chops. That's now the next problem that we've got.
Well, it's because I was going for a double overtake into the corner and that was never going to end well for me. Out of the way, Russian.
So just to come back on your amazing slipstreaming problem, clearly there is one, because I've just overtaken Sutil, who's on intermediates, who could not get out of that final corner, yet he was still able to half challenge me down the straight.
Yeah. There is something, right? There is something not right about...
DRS is on as well, so you can get that now down the straights, so that's good. Ah, that might be why actually then.
Fastest lap of the race for you, old sport.
And I am now in 8th.
15th, because I ballsed it passing Kvyat.
Well, everyone from 14th to 8th is nigh on in a line, because Massa's holding them up. See, some of the sim racing is actually quite true to form.
Oh yeah, I'm coming up on them now. Nowhere on my tyres. Just got to keep it on the racing line, Ben.
And seriously, it's like 10 seconds a lap. We're better, nearly, on some of them. Some of them are really, really slow, actually. A couple of them are doing a bit better now.
Weren't we praising the AI just before?
Yeah.
Okay, Mags.
I'm quite proud of us.
Yeah, I mean, I am and I'm
Stunned
sort
to
of...
silence.
I am and I'm sort of not. On the basis that, you know, success, again, shouldn't be happening.
It's the point where we actually show our true potential.
Oh, hello, points.
Yeah.
I see you. I've got 1 lap to get past 2, possibly 3 cars.
You'll do it.
But I'm now faster on the straights.
Ah, okay. Is that because of their CAC exiting, hopefully?
I have no idea. I can drive quite shockingly badly, actually, and still get past them.
I'm so proud.
Okay, in the points.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
I'm a second slower than my last lap, though, because of all the weird manoeuvres I had to do to get past everyone. Not today, Massa. Not today. He's just taken my wing off. What a completely gibbon.
God. Felipe, baby, that is not cool.
Oh dear.
No! No,
Oh,
Esteban, no!
No, check your fuel.
Oh, mine wasn't quite as close as yours, I don't think. I should be alright.
My fuel reads -1 lap.
I'm on optimal. Go mix 1, if you haven't then.
I've gone mix 1. But it's going to happen on this straight, isn't it? What I was actually expecting, if I'm honest with you, is because everyone stayed on wets, I was thinking it's going to just pour it down like Spain last year.
Oh, that was amazing when that happened.
Just a last lap downpour. Oh, Raikkonen, I could have passed you. I'm so close to...
That is an interesting line into that last corner.
Yeah, I gave up a bit. It's because it didn't want to turn.
Well done, us.
Have you still finished 7th?
Yes.
With a 10-second penalty?
Yes.
Oh, you were miles down the road then. What position were you actually running?
I was... Did I have Bottas? I can't remember now. I couldn't have done... No, I didn't. Yes, I did. I had Bottas, sorry. So I was 6th. And I could see 3rd, 4th and 5th a couple of corners away.
You were 1.5 seconds faster than me on those tyres. Wow. So I made the wrong tyre call while simultaneously making the right tyre call. That's interesting. But I am otherwise happy with everything except my line into the final corner on the final lap, just because I was angry that if I changed tyres a lap earlier, I could have got past Raikkonen. I could have done. And if I hadn't have balls my passing of Kvyat a lap earlier. But on my final lap, I got past Suttil, K-Mags, Perez, Button and Massa. And on my first lap out, I got past Gutierrez, Verne, Hulkenberg, Kvyat. So that felt pretty good, to be honest with you.
Great. And I tell you what, some of the AI must have... has then changed onto dries because Kvyat, Hulkenberg, Verne and the Mauritius and Caterhams are all on option. Which is interesting. But they've clearly done it too late to make any impact. So we are the trendsetters.
We absolutely are. Look at that. They pitted twice. More fool them.
Yeah. I don't know why they pitted for Inters. They were going to last. They were a bit skiddy, but you could have got round maybe. I don't know.
I guess maybe we'd only have found that out if the races stayed wet. But I've got a feeling that the AI usually knows best. So my guess is that if we didn't have the human brain capacity to note that, hey, the track's drying up, it might have been smart to pit for faster inters, because the cars that had pitted were demonstrably faster, I felt. Keeping Massa behind me was difficult, so nah.
True say.
Well, delightful, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to go and have myself some cold apple strudel for a treat. Yeah.
That sounds strudel-tastic.
It does indeed. Well, as ever, thank you very much, Esteban, for enlightening us all on Civilization Beyond Earth, which may accidentally end up in my shopping cart now. Thank you very much.
Pleasure as always. Take care.
Yes, and you. And thank you for watching. Please pop your comments and subscribe down below, and we look forward to getting back to our usual incompetence next time out at Spain, I think it is, which is generally quite an incompetent track for Spain.
That's our bogey track. We've never finished well, or at all, actually, in the last 2 seasons. So, yeah, be there for that. That's got to be good.
Yes, especially around the last couple of laps, I'm sure. So take care, and we'll see you soon.